It's a new year, Taurus. Welcome. Happy New Year. I'm going to animate your chart just to show you exactly what's happening, but I better get the dates right? Otherwise, I'm going to be looking at a whole other perspective, wrong destiny for you. Here we go. It shows us the upper part of your horoscope here. This 8th house, 9th house, 10th house and 11th house, all dominant, similar to the sign of Aries. But here, the congestion of planets, including that retrograde Venus, is in the upper part, in the 9th house, which is your educational system. New moon taking place there too on the 3rd, as you can see there, that conjunction of the moon and the sun, and passing over the retrograde Venus, which is your ruling planet. A lot of power is endowed on those planets that are retrograde, and when they're ruling planets, and look at that, very close to Pluto, a lot of intensity there, a whole lot of thinking about yourself, who you are, what it is you want in life. That's the job of the retrograde planet. And we see here that all of that psychological stuff's been going on in your 8th house as well, with the south node there, your past karma, north node, future karma in your 2nd house of income, 8th house of shared resources. But this is also the level of intimacy, sexuality, those deeper psychological areas of your nature that are going to be dominant as 2022 starts. I want you to also keep in mind what's happening here in your 10th house. Just as you have this Mercury making a fantastic conjunction, Mercury and Saturn for Taurus are wonderful planets. That's a combination of the 9th ruler, the 10th ruler. Saturn rules the 2 best houses, and Mercury rules this 5th house, another triangular house. And when these planets come together, that's called a Raja Yoga, or a very super special combination, giving you an opportunity through careful, deliberate thought and planning to really get ahead in your work in January, and for that matter, the rest of 2022. As I said, this chart for January is going to set the trend for the rest of the year. Keep an eye out on some of these other placements. It's great having Jupiter there in your 11th house. I've been talking about this in the weekly horoscopes, showing how you've recently started to fulfill some of your dreams. Notice there on the 15th, Mercury going stationary. It's going to go back into its retrograde motion and move back out of this 10th house, which is career, into this 9th house. You'll see that as I'm talking. Keep your eye on some of these planets. And then you've got these 2 retrograde planets that will be moving through this 9th house of education, your belief systems, your philosophy, the philosophical reason you are doing what you do. And that's important because the retrogression of Mercury, this is the creative planet for you, in the 10th house of career, is basically talking about a whole revamp, possibly going back into this educational sphere to rethink whether you've got the skill sets that you really need to, set yourself on the right path this year. I've just missed that full moon that's going to take place in the 3rd house of mind. That's also being influenced by this 9th house of education. So I'm still on the same topic there. It's a great thing when the sun moves into the 10th house. That takes place on the 20th. There it is, making a connection with that retrograde Mercury, and very close to Pluto, the transformative planet as well. So I think for you, this first month of the year has a lot to do with transforming yourself through the mechanism of re-education, retooling yourself for the work that you want to do. That's shown here also by Mercury and its re-evaluative processes. Have a look at it here, moving back into this area. Trine aspect as well. I'm missing a lot of them today. But basically, we're all still on the same page with this whole theme being your work, reappraisal of the work, and how it connects to your educational pursuits. Venus, your ruling planet there, really dominates the chart throughout this period. There's Mercury moving back, really providing a whole lot of congestion, a complete focus on that area of your horoscope. That's also to do with travels, long distance journeys. And you look here, the moon swinging back around up here through your 8th house of deeper psychological and intimate activities into this 9th house as well. So there's a dominant feature here for January, which is all this upper part of your horoscope, re-educating yourself, considering who you are, what it is you want to do with your life, as associated with the skill sets that you have. What do you need to do to really, justify this 10th house sun? 10th house sun is a really exceptionally good placement. It gives you the opportunity for lifting your position at work. You'll notice that it's going to move into a close conjunction here with Saturn. By this stage, in the last few days of January, it's going to be giving those effects of Saturn, which is a far greater sense of responsibility. You'll also notice that the nodes have just moved place too. So when there's a move, a shift in those nodes, these are what we call the new chapters of life, along with that Jupiter in the 11th house. Generally, this will fulfill you in a lot of areas, but you can't escape the responsibility that's coming. Take a look at astrology.com.au, Taurus. I've got a lot of stuff going on there for you. You've got the weeklies there to get this in context. We've got the chronological dates for the month of January. Don't forget to subscribe and leave me a note here, especially if you want something of a more personal nature, especially at the beginning of the year. We can look at those problems that are bothering you in the light of your own personal horoscope based upon the time, the date, and the place that you're born. Take care. Happy New Year. Look forward to seeing you next month. Bye-bye.